welcome back to the She Shoots podcast, Women Empowering Women in the Shooting Community, episode 8. This club is not just for men. My name is Regina Ruiz Ordóñez, and I'm from the Canadian University Shooting Federation. Joining me today, as always, are Deneen Tomlin and Casey Gavinchuk from Lady Guns, and Kelly Melanson from Maple Seed Project, Sci-Fi Radio, and CCFR Women's Program. I would like, as always, to start by thanking our sponsors, Cabela's Canada Outdoor Fund, positively shaping the future of the outdoors, Savage Arms, home to the Stevens single-shot rifle and shotguns, Beretta, family-owned and operated since 1526, and Vortex, the best in optics. If you have any questions or comments throughout the show, make sure to leave them in the chat box below. Doing so will automatically enter you in the draw for today's giveaway. Today we will be giving away a CUSF t-shirt, a She Shoots t-shirt, and a Lady Guns t-shirt. If you can tell, Deneen and Casey are wearing the She Shoots t-shirts today, so we're excited to get those. And that's all for me. So Deneen and Kelly, can you please introduce our guests for today?
Absolutely. Really excited to be back with you guys. I missed last month because I was away fishing, so super excited to be back on the show, and with Kelly, Casey, Regina, and our new guests, Jenn and Amber. So I'm just going to flip to some notes I wrote on these lovely ladies so we can do some introductions and get started. So we've got two lovely ladies in the industry, and our first guest, Jennifer Gadbois, is the managing director of the CSAAA, or the Canadian Sporting Arms and Ammunition Association. She lives in rural Eastern Ontario, is an avid hunter, angler, competitive shooter, and lady in the firearms industry. So follow her because you can see her doing all those things on her posts. While she didn't grow up in a household interested in hunting, she's always spent more time outdoors than indoors, and is also interested in self-sustainability. A hunting passion quickly sparked a bigger firearm passion, and Jenn went on to take her RPEL course and became a licensed restricted firearm owner. She never realized how healthy and inviting Canada's firearm community was, or how diverse the sports shooting was. After a few years of recreational range visits, Jenn completed the Black Badge course and now competes in IPSC and Steel Challenge through the summer, and is also hunting every fall. In December of 21, she took on the exciting new role of managing director with the CSAAA, which is a not-profit organization that lobbies, fights, and works to support Canada's hunting and firearm industry. So thank you very much for joining us, Jenn. I'm going to flip over to our other guest and say welcome and hello to Amber Berukoff. Amber is a gunsmith and owner of Can-Tac Firearms. She's a mother, sister, daughter, licensed gunsmith, president of the Castlegar Pistol Club, founder and managing director of the West Kootenay Ladies Shooting Group, a range officer, and a firearms instructor. Amber was also selected as a representative in the 2022 CCFR Gunny Girl calendar with Casey and I, and continues to support women's events and activities wherever and whenever she can. Welcome, Amber. Welcome, ladies. We're going to have fun tonight.
Yeah,
yes, absolutely.
Two of the busiest ladies in the industry right here with us.
So true.
Yeah. So
Especially now.
especially now.
Especially now, yeah. So we put together a bunch of questions, and we're going to ask you ladies to share your thoughts with us tonight. And I've done a bunch of talking already, so I'm going to throw it over to Kelly so I can have a drink and take a break.
Okay. So we're going to get right into it. Amber, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background? How did you actually get into the firearms business? Well, actually, no. Let's talk about shooting first. So you like to shoot. So tell us about that.
So I'm like Jenn in the sense that I didn't start shooting. It wasn't in my family. I was raised in a really small town, 4,000 people, and I was raised Doukhobor, which a lot of people don't realize what that is. It's actually, it's a hard way to explain it, but what it is it's a place in Russia, well, not a place, a group of people in Russia, and they came over and they denounced guns. They had nothing to do with guns. They're very peaceful type of people. And the entire region is made up of Doukhobors. So nothing to do with guns growing up. So it was a little bit of a shift getting into the firearms community because while the Kootenays does have a huge hunting community and shooting community, we also have a lot of Doukhobors who are against guns. So to start off, I needed a job. I was a single mom.
Yeah.
I got offered a job at a gun shop, and so I started working there, and I fell into the rabbit hole. Like it was awesome. It was such a welcoming community, and I think as a single mom, like I needed that. I needed to find a place where I belonged, and so that's how it kind of started.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I think that you also found a community where you belong. Deneen was talking about you being one of the CCFR Gunny Girls last year, and that's how we met you as well. And I think that you're such a great advocate and also a role model for women in the industry, but not only that, as a Gunny Girl as well. So thank you for that.
Oh, thank you.
Jenn, what about you? How did you fall into the rabbit hole? Because I know you did as well.
Yeah, exactly. So like we established, I guess I didn't grow up around it, but I was always extremely interested in it. So after college, I kind of had like a few cents of money and a couple of minutes of time to get my firearms license and hunting license. And I really did it just for the hunting aspect.
Okay.
And then the hunting grew into a passion for firearms in general. So I went and got my RPAL, joined a local range, started shooting just as a hobby for fun. And the range that I'm a part of is just such a huge sports shooting range. So of course they kind of dragged me into the sports shooting world. And I got my black badge course or a black badge certificate. I did my range officer course so that I can kind of give back to the range and volunteer a little bit more. And as soon as I got my hunting and firearms license, it was kind of all uphill quickly from there.
Bill, you are somebody also you organize events at that range. I know that you're really active in that range as well, but not only that, again, within the community, the hunting community, you were somebody that was quite vocal about supporting hunting sports, but you were also somebody who now has shifted over to the industry side. So I think that, again, just like Amber, you're a fantastic role model and for women in the shooting sports. So thanks for coming on tonight.
Thank you.
How long ago did you get your black badge?
I got my black badge 5 years ago.
Okay. So I thought it was a little bit more recent than that, but it's not. And
no, with COVID and work, I took like kind of 2 years off from actual sports shooting, which didn't help. So I'm really happy to be back into it this year, practicing, trying to get my skills back up. And
okay, fantastic. So you are practicing a little bit more. Any other shooting sports? So you do hunting. What else?
I do hunting. I do IPSC and Steel Challenge. Steel Challenge is super fun.
Yeah, it is fun, isn't it?
Yeah, I love it. Just that ting. For hunting, I'll hunt like basically anything that's in season in my area: deer, turkey, goose.
Okay.
Yeah.
Favorites?
Favorite hunt?
Yeah.
Or that's a hard one. I think I put the most time and effort into deer hunting, so I'd have to say deer.
Deer hunting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Amber? What are all the types of shooting do you do? What type of?
So I do pretty much everything. I do cowboy, I do IPSC, I do Steel Challenge. I just recently got into Outlaw, which I've fallen in love with. That one is one of my favorites, the 22 edition. Yes. Yeah. And then I don't know what it would really be classified as, but I do my own shoots where I kind of make up my own thing. So I do like paint nights at the range, and I love those. Or we do like balloon pops and things like that. And that's a lot of fun for me.
One of the ones that we were talking about before the show went live, but also you do it every year, is it gowns and tiaras, or what do you call it?
My girls' gowns and crowns. It started off as just a whim with my ladies' club that I started, and it kind of like got into something a lot bigger than what I was expecting it. And it was just meant to be a fun night out, get some guns, get some girls, dress up. I started the ladies club when COVID was a thing. And so people weren't getting out. Right. And so I thought, what would be a fun way to either, A, get people into shooting, and B, have a little bit of fun. So I thought, what? And I was staring at my closet. I'm like, I haven't worn my prom dress in forever. What is the point of having it in my closet if I'm never going to wear it again? So I'm like, let's do a fun shoot. I'm like, we can wear gowns, we can wear crowns, we could bring out all of the firearms and just have a blast. And so it went viral. So I thought, you know what, let's do this absolutely every year. And so, yeah, it just kind of blossomed.
And not only that, you also arranged to have a photographer at the range as well, and people can get their photos taken in their gowns, the tiaras, and shooting as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, so I'm the photographer.
Oh,
That
okay.
one. But I mean, it's a ton of fun, right? And it gives women the confidence. They get to come out, right? And of course, men are invited as well. And they, as long as they dress dapper, they can dress however they want. So this year we had a gentleman come in his kilt, and his wife came, and it's a ton of fun. So I do, and I take pictures of the couples together, and I bring out all of my firearms, and they bring their firearms. There's no specific shooting that we're doing, right? It's just essentially have fun, grab what you want if there's something you've never tried. So yeah, it's just an event focused on fun and nothing else.
Perfect. And you're also, again, you're part of that community, and we've been talking about it. So other areas are looking to copy what you're doing because it's so much fun. Maybe we can get some women out shooting and dressing up and having a lot of fun.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
it gives us all an excuse to get out our prom dresses.
Right.
Really.
Okay. So I do have a question. Is it just prom dresses, or can we wear our wedding dresses? And if we're divorced, can we? Never mind.
Well, to be fair, it's never really about the dresses. So if somebody doesn't have a dress, right? Like, it's open to absolutely anybody, and anything that anybody is comfortable in, I'm all for. So if you want to wear whatever the heck you want to wear, by all means, come out and just have a great time.
Awesome. That's great. Deneen, you want to take over a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've been talking about doing some fun shoots and what kind of sports the ladies like, but I'm always curious. Everybody has a favorite, except for Amber, who has lots of favorites. But what's your favorite firearm that you're currently own and that you're taking out for any one of these sports or hunting, perhaps? Name something you've built or that is currently your favorite. I always just like to find out what everybody's running. Yeah, Jen.
Okay.
Yeah, let's start with you.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, that's, oh my gosh, always such a hard one. I get asked that all the time, and it kind of depends on what I'm doing and what I currently have in my hands. So when I'm competing, I love my CZ Shadow 2. It's always my go-to competition pistol. But then I'll be hunting in the fall, and in my WMU, so wildlife management unit, we can only hunt deer with bow, shotgun, or muzzleloader. I use a Traditions Pursuit muzzleloader, so during deer season, that's like my favorite rifle or muzzleloader. It's accurate, it's reliable, and it actually harvests food for me. So I'm like, oh, you know what? Maybe this is my favorite firearm. So I guess I'm just sort of skirting the question. I don't have a straight answer. I just love them all.
Yeah, I have a gun de jour problem as well. So
they all have a purpose.
Right?
They all have.
Yeah. Amber, how about you, my dear?
Yeah, this is a tough question. I gotta say, it's like asking me which one of my children is my favorite.
Come on, we really do have. Yeah, I was gonna say.
I'm a huge sucker for lever actions. I've fallen in love with them. So if I honestly had to pick one, I have a beautiful 38 Special Marlin Cowboy Edition, and it's not necessarily because it's a lever action or because it's a nice firearm. It's because it was given to me by someone special, and I'm sure everybody can relate how special those firearms are. Yeah. So I'm going to say that one.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. That's fantastic. So now that we got the fun part out of the way, I think we got to start talking about some of the stuff about working in the industry and building a career in the industry. So you both kind of talked a little bit about how you got started. So Jen, over to you. What courses or different activities in your career helped you find this job that you are undertaking with the CSAAA?
Yeah, so I actually came from a veterinary medicine background. I took a veterinary medicine course through college. I spent 5 years in the vet field, and we always had to do continued education to keep our certification. So the courses weren't even vet related. They were more like public communication related. So sort of de-escalating a stressful situation. If you have an upset client, a lot of administrative, bookkeeping, legal courses. So I really think that those courses have come in extremely handy in this current role, because we're always talking about very sensitive subjects, dealing with the public, dealing with politicians. And then after May 1st, I'm kind of embarrassed to say this, but before May 1st, I wasn't that invested in the firearms politics of it all, because I'm like, you know what, I'm just minding my own business. I'm staying away from social media. I'm doing my hunting and sport shooting and whatever is. And then of course there was the May 1st ban announced, and I was like, okay, I need to get involved. What is happening to my sport? So I started doing my research. I kind of volunteered with a few of the consumer groups that were fighting the unjust firearms regulations, and I learned a lot, and that kind of pushed me in the right direction to sort of fit in more with CSAAA.
Right. And thank you for doing that, Jen. I think a lot of us felt the same way when that happened. So thank you for that. Amber, how about yourself? We heard about you talk, you shared with us that you needed to find a job, but obviously you can't just put up a sign and say I'm a gunsmith. You have to learn a little bit about guns.
You can.
Tools.
That is true and that's not true. And I would like to dabble into that because Canada doesn't recognize gunsmithing as a trade. And it's sad because realistically, anybody can go get a business firearms license and say they're a gunsmith. And I don't believe that should be a thing. I think that there should be more regulation behind that. And I know a lot of people say, oh gosh, regulation, and it scares people in the firearms community. But for something to that extent, I think that we should make it a trade. It is in the States, so why it is in here, I'm not too sure. But you are right. So I was a single mom. I needed a job and I started working at a firearms store. And originally I was just behind the counter and I was dealing with everything. I was fresh. I just got my PAL and my RPAL, so I knew nothing. So it was a huge learning curve, and I saw how busy the shop was, and we were a gunsmith as well. So there's no gunsmiths in the entire Kootenay region. This was the only one. So we were servicing so many people, and there was such a delay in the back, right? Like it was months wait. And I thought, what can I do to help out? So on my days off, I started going back there and learning a little bit about it. And because gunsmithing is not a licensed trade in Canada, there's no schools in Canada for it. If I'm not mistaken, there's only one, but there's still actually no legal requirements to take it because it's not a licensed trade. And so I thought, well, what are some things that I can do to still continue my education? So I took online courses. I took 3 of them, and they were very informative, very knowledgeable. I liked it a lot, but you really don't learn a lot, have hands-on stuff when you're doing it online. And so I took it upon myself to do my own apprenticeship through my shop. I have 3 other licensed gunsmiths in my shop. And so I kind of pestered them enough to teach me. And they did. And I'm still learning every day. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun. So I did that. And then aside from that, I did all my range officer courses. I took lessons through my own pistol club that I go to, and it's been absolutely great.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing. And I shared with you before the show that we have a lovely lady gunsmith here in Calgary who has joined Lady Guns as a range officer. So I can't wait to introduce you guys, because you're absolutely right. There's not many women doing that and choosing that as a career path. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Kelly, sounds like you got some ideas.
Okay, so I did want to go back to Jenn a little bit. I know that with the CSAAA, can you tell us a little bit about, you were talking about the OIC and more recently the recent announcement. We were talking in the background a little bit about the impacts to Canadian gun owners specifically. And we're talking about this from a retail perspective. What are your thoughts on the most recent announcements and the upcoming handgun ban? So
honestly,
not to get into, okay.
No, politics aside.
Yeah. What's the impacts basically?
What's the impacts on the companies and the businesses and the families?
It's honestly so hard because I talk to our members every single day, and they are just being slapped with regulation after regulation that is making it so hard for them to properly conduct business. Yeah. Bill C21 was pushed through, and that just put a whole load of administrative work on the retailers. We had, as always, very little notice that these regulations were going to get pushed through. As far as Bill C21 goes, they recently announced that as of August 19th, there's going to be a handgun import ban. Yep. And we have businesses or companies that have orders already out waiting to arrive. And if they don't get through the border before August 19th, they don't know what they're going to do. Like, they're trying to cancel orders. They have people that have already purchased firearms that haven't technically made it into Canada yet. Mm-hmm. And then Bill C21 in a whole is basically destroying the handgun and airsoft industry. There are a ton of components to Bill C21 that there's not a whole lot of clarity offered. We've pushed for clarity, and frankly, I don't think they know at this point.
No, I don't think so either. Yeah.
No, and it's very, very difficult. There are ASIC, so Airsoft in Canada estimates there's about 196, I'd say more, airsoft specific businesses that employ 1,200 people, and those businesses will all be forced to shut down with Bill C21.
Okay.
The handgun and handgun accessories make up about 40% of business for most retailers. So I don't know how we're expected to keep these businesses, a lot of the businesses open, and how they're going to be able to keep all of their employees if 40% of their business is destroyed. Of course, anyone that's been paying attention knows that these regulations aren't necessarily going to impact public safety because they're targeting the wrong firearms.
Yeah.
So it's extremely discouraging to just constantly, be fighting that. And
so we've just talked about industry and retailers. I don't want to leave this topic without touching on the places that we go to.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
The ranges and the ranges that are owned and operated by these families, by these organizations, and by clubs that rely on the RPAL and the requirement of using that range to be able to have your firearms. So let's talk about that. And Amber, I mean, you're the president of a gun club.
Yeah.
I am,
So,
Yeah, it's difficult. So I'm the president of the Castlegar Pistol Club, and I am the match director for the West Kootenay Marksmen in Trail. And yeah, it's difficult. Not only have we had to deal with the recent BC laws that they were going to enact that fell on gun clubs, we have to deal with the federal as well. And what I am the most confused about, I guess, is we book our CMP at our range. It's a private range. It's not public lands. And if there are no more handguns, it means the club no longer gets those members. Our club will fail because that's what we depend on. If our club is no longer there, where are the RCMP going to train? And that's a huge question that my members keep asking me. And it's frustrating because I can't give them those answers. Nobody can give me those answers. And and we're all thrown into this big confusion mess. So it's not okay.
Let's just back up. Sorry, I was just going to interject because Amber, you made a point about the legislation that BC was trying to put in. Your club actually was part of that, where you were able to repeal that, correct?
Absolutely, yes. So with the BC Wildlife Federation, they spoke on our club's behalf, and it was the Bill 5, the Violence and Prevention Act, and in there, it will essentially stop anybody who is not licensed from being able to shoot a firearm. Now, under the Federal Firearms Act as it stands right now, as long as you are a licensed shooter, you can take somebody who is unlicensed, and under your watch, they can fire a firearm. So BC was looking at getting rid of that so that nobody without a license could shoot a firearm. And that is what the West Kootenay Ladies Shooting Group depends on, because that is how we bring in new shooters, right? So I have a wonderful board of ladies who are all range officers. And we bring in unlicensed ladies, right? We show them what it is. We go and they get their licenses if they decide that they like it. And that would have wiped out the West Kootenay Ladies Shooting Group. It would have damaged the Castlegar Pistol Club. It would have done harm to the West Kootenay Marksmen, because it takes away anybody who wants to try it out. And firearms, as much as I do love them, I will be the first to admit they're not cheap. It is quite a jump to decide that you want to get into this sport without trying it first. And when I first started being a single mom, like, I didn't have the money to, if I just decided to go and get it, go for my PAL, go for my RPAL, file the paperwork, purchase a firearm, purchase a gun membership, right? Like that's a lot of money. So the ladies club, what we do, like I said, is we bring these women in, let them try it. And if they decide to like it, then we can push them through the avenues that they need to go to. So, yeah.
Those are alarming and enlightening facts combined. And thank you so much for sharing, because I'm neither a gun owner or a lobbyist, but I'm certainly doing everything I can from inviting non-licensed, participants and getting out and having as much interaction with people so that we can educate them. So thank you both for everything that you guys do.
So on a happier note, and I asked that question because of the follow-up question that I have is, what recommendations or what suggestions do you have for women who are interested in getting a job and a career in the firearm industry? Let's hope that all those measures and everything that we talked about, we're able to stop some of those measures, and we're able to keep those ranges open, and we're able to keep those gun stores open and add more women, like the lady that's in Calgary who's a gunsmith as well. So what kind of recommendations do you have, so if somebody is interested in getting into the industry side of things? Why don't we talk to you, John?
All right. So right now there are plenty of firearms retailers across Canada that are just like every other business, looking for people to work.
Yep.
So you can just start there. The firearms industry is a very small world. You'll get to meet, major stakeholders. You'll really get your name out there, and you can go up from there. There's plenty of avenues you can take, outfitting, sales, media, gunsmithing, as Amber knows for sure. I know right now gunsmithing isn't a recognized trade, but CSAAA is working with a couple of colleges in Ontario to try and actually make it a recognized trade and an actual program to make it easier for people to get into, of course, pending regulations. And then start volunteering with your consumer groups. There's, CCFR, CSSAAA, NFA, tons of consumer groups that you can volunteer with. They need volunteers. You can start attending these events and just learn more and actually get your name out there and meet, major people in the industry or the firearms community. And I think that the jobs will start, slowly opening up, and you can figure out where you fit.
Yeah.
We better throw CUSIF in that list.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, yes.
University shooting. Absolutely.
Same thing with Amber. You got into this through needing a job. So what types of recommendations do you have for women who would like to be part of the industry?
Well, I love that there are so many options now. So many ladies' range days, everything geared towards women to get them into this. So yeah, I would just recommend reaching out, going to a club. When I was in high school, they had, I can't remember what it was, but you would go to a business that you were interested in, and you would essentially volunteer there for a day to see if you liked it or not. And I do that with the college still. So I do have a lot of to-be apprentices that come through my shop. And I think that should still be a thing, right? Like if you're interested in a job, contact the business, see what it's like, maybe volunteer for a day. And if it's not what you like, you can at least say, hey, I tried it, and you can move on to the next thing. So.
Awesome. Excellent.
So in doing all that, unless there's a few more questions that you wanted to ask on that side, I'd like to flip it to the other side of it. What are the challenges or obstacles that you guys have had to overcome, or that currently perhaps you're still facing as a career path, not on the political side?
I guess just getting our voices out there is extremely difficult because nobody kind of knows, well, not nobody, but a lot of people don't really care about the firearms community unless they're in the firearms community. So being able to actually get our voices out there really helps us do our jobs as an organization that supports, the firearms community or the firearms industry. And for me personally, I was very new to the firearms industry aspect. So this is a huge learning curve for me. Firearms did become more political, and there was a lot of, there is still a lot of like legal and politics that I need to learn. And yeah, I'm learning more and more every single day. So I guess the challenge is just the learning curve and learning something new.
How about yourself, Amber? Any challenges or obstacles? I mean, you're sitting at a tool bench with a bunch of
my beautiful milling machine behind me.
Right.
I'm going to flip this to the other side. Being a gunsmith, a lot of people don't realize that it's actually a play off of machining. And being a woman in the trades, I don't get taken seriously a lot of the time because I am a woman. And even in the firearm side as well, right? A lot of, and I hate to say it, the old school shooters who don't take women seriously. So not only have I had to face that, I've had to face the women in the trade. And then, of course, my area that I touched upon is very Duke of War, and they don't like firearms. So trying to break through all of that has been an interesting struggle. It's been good though. So far, I've been doing very well. My West Kootenay Ladies Shooting Group, I think we reached over 500 members now, so which is huge for the yeah, it's been absolutely phenomenal. So I'd like to think that we're kicking butt and, you know, making a good name for women.
Amazing. That's excellent. And I love that that you guys are both still going at it and learning and trying to you know, create opportunities for other women as you're going along. So that takes me to the question about mentoring or guides along the way. How have you found finding mentors, or did you have one that kind of perhaps, or two, that brought you where you are here?
So when I first started shooting, there was tons of very, very active sports shooting members at my home range. And just seeing how welcoming and inviting they are and how willing they are to teach somebody that's new to shooting everything about their sport so that they can ensure that they succeed was very inspiring. And I know that this is going to sound super cheesy, but every single member on, so CSAAA is made up of a board of directors, industry stakeholders, experts, and they're all the most passionate and motivated and knowledgeable people that I've ever worked with. So definitely huge inspirations and people that I look to for insight, knowledge, everything.
Awesome.
Thank you, Jen. Amber?
I have too many to name. When I was working in the firearm store, we would sell memberships to the Castlegar Pistol Club. So I would get all of the people coming in, and I would get people offering to take me out because I was new. And a few of them, bless their hearts, actually gave me my first firearms to get started because I didn't have the money. So it was the best thing ever. And then, of course, all of my ladies from the ladies club, I know it sounds weird to say because I brought about 80% of them into it, but they're my mentors too, because seeing how they've grown and everything like that, it just keeps me going.
Well, I know I look to both Jen and Amber, and then my fellow ladies on the podcast all the time. I see you guys on social media. Totally inspires me to continue doing what I'm doing. So it's a big old love fest. Eh?
Speaking of which, that's my next question. What's your experience been with the other ladies in our shooting community?
When I first started, working with just ladies, they were not super accepting of me because, it was a weird eye. No, it was because it was just like a big city animal hospital. They were animal lovers. I was a hunter. They were like, you're the devil.
Okay. We're going to cover that in this podcast, actually.
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So meeting women in the firearms sport or community was totally different because they were so accepting and so friendly and so inviting. I have never had a bad experience with another woman or another person, to be honest, out of all of the events and competitions that I've attended. Usually when I show up at a competition, I stick out like a sore thumb because I'm like 5'0" lady. There's a bunch of, older men there. And then I see another woman and we always end up like introducing each other and mingling a bit because we're like, oh, we're the only two women here. Let's be friends. No, they're always like super, super inviting, welcoming. It's just been amazing.
Wow. That's awesome. What about you, Amber?
I love that. I fully agree. I have never met a bad woman in the firearms industry. When I first started and I started my Instagram, I connected to a few over Canada, and every time I would post, even though I had never met these women in my life, they would always be like commenting on my stuff, hyping me up, and it was the best feeling ever. And even with the West Kootenay Ladies Shooting Group, when I had started that and all the ladies were coming out and they were becoming friends, like you'd make friends with them on Facebook. And as the time started going on, like I would see these girls get together on totally separate that had nothing to do with firearms, and they were becoming really great friends. And I mean, it's the same for me. I would say most of my best friends actually came from me starting the West Kootenay Ladies Shooting Group. And it's been this amazing experience. Like even still, like I reach out to people that I have never met before and we check in on each other, and it's absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah. I think the exact same thing. I say the exact same thing with, and Deneen that's here. I know that she's somebody who is part of the our community as well. I met her last year in person, and Amber and Jenn. I know that our women in the shooting community, we're one of the most positive groups of people that you can actually meet. Yeah, fantastic supports for each other. I'm glad you had that experience as well. And I'm also encourage anybody who is thinking about getting into the shooting sports to actually also reach out to other women who are part of the community, because we'll be supportive of you if you have questions, if you need equipment, or if you just want to go and hang out, we'll go and do that as well.
And if I can add, Kelly,
yeah.
the latest, most amazing thing that's happened this year, and I think it's a bit post-pandemic, is women and clubs that want to put women's events on,
Yeah.
reaching out and calling us and emailing us saying, how do I put on an event? What do I need to know? What's different? Is there anything different to put on a ladies' day? And so the amount of people that are reaching out are fantastic, and the amount of ladies' days and ladies' events are just growing and growing. And I think that's because we are so helpful and sharing and really encouraging of each other to do it. So
absolutely, yep, we're doing gangbusters. All right, so why do you think we're just talking about, we're a supportive community. We're talking about those events that were happening that really are taking off. People are wanting to get out to them. So why is it really important for us to support getting other women involved in shooting sports?
So right now, the majority of the people involved in hunting and sports shooting, like, they're over 45 years of age. We're not seeing as many young people get into this. So we need more people in general to get into this, but women in particular, because that's a whole demographic that we're just starting to reach. So if we can pull more women into this sport through the ladies' days that have been mentioned, and educating and showing women that, the gun range is not an intimidating place, everyone's going to be accepting and welcoming, then I think that's extremely important. And I find that when it comes to firearms, sometimes hearing things from a woman can just be perceived differently, if not maybe better sometimes. So just having a female voice to advocate for the firearms community is extremely important.
I agree. What about you, Amber?
Yeah, I absolutely agree with what Jenn said, but also on a different front. Not only does it make women more confident, I find, that pushes into other aspects of their lives. And I see her in the comments right now, but I'm going to talk about one of the girls from the West Kootenay Ladies Shooting Group. Bless her heart. Her name's Angela. And when I had first started the club, she was too scared to come. And she had told me that she would sit outside with her son in his activity and would watch us go to the shooting range. And she kept saying, like, oh, like, I wish I had the confidence to do that. And then finally one day she came out, and she was this timid little thing. Like, she didn't know how to handle firearms. She kept constantly questioning herself. And that was 2 years ago. And I had pushed her through the PAL and the RPAL course. And to this day now, not only does she have her PAL, she has her RPAL, she has her hunting. She started her own business. She managed to push off out of that and start her own thing. And she gained the confidence to do that. And I'm so proud of her. And I think that once women get past that moment of fear, they have a higher self-confidence. They're more excited. Like, I find they're fearless. And yeah, I think it's absolutely phenomenal. I think more women should check it out. Even if they don't like the whole shooting aspect, there are so many things to do with firearms, right? There's the hunting, there's the sports shooting, there's the fun stuff that you don't even have to get into the competition if you don't want to. And a lot of people seem to have this myth that you have to be good at your hobbies. You don't. I have women who come to my range and they are so upset with themselves because they're not good. And I think, why not? Like, just have fun. Like, it doesn't really matter. And that's when I started the balloon pops and all that stuff, and just the thrill of getting out and having fun. And yeah, it's been awesome.
That sounds great. We really do need to actually get more women out and shooting, and those women's days that we were all talking about. Yeah, that's actually going to help with that. And then, as Amber, as you're saying, have fun, go out. You don't have to be a level B IPSC shooter, you can actually go and just have fun and pop some balloons but if you do want to be competitive as well, you can get to that point as well. I know that some people do want to be a little bit more competitive, but yeah. What about, so you two are both very, let's be real, you're very active, you're super women, let's be real. So, but if somebody just is maybe wondering about getting their feet wet, what recommendations do you have for women who want to get involved in shooting, or want to get involved in women's days?
If they're, you mean like if they're already licensed? I mean, there's
Well,
just
maybe
so
not.
many. Yeah, if they're not licensed, then I think just attending these ladies' days is a first step to see what the range is all about. Whenever I hosted an event at my home range for National Range Day, I advertised it as an open house. So I literally just had a big sign at the end of the long driveway that said open house. So people had no idea what they were driving into. And it drew a ton of traffic that people were like, I had no idea I was coming into a gun range. And they were amazed at what they saw in a good way. So even just getting out to the range and seeing what it's all about is a great first start. And of course, if they're already, licensed and active in the firearms and hunting community, I guess just volunteering with these ladies' days that are happening all over the country with all of these organizations.
Perfect.
Volunteering in any way.
Volunteer. Awesome. And just go shoot and have fun.
Yeah, really.
Amber, take people out. Okay, we're adding to that list. Amber, what about you?
Oh, I mimic everything that Jen said. I think just getting out, volunteering, doing whatever you can, even if it's just like online, following the forums, right? Like kind of getting your feet wet in that sense, learning about it. I was always taught that there are, I think 3 ways to learning, like watching it, reading it, and doing it. So I try to incorporate that a lot. I do have a lot of women who come to me and they say, oh, well, I'm scared of shooting right now. What can I do? And I said, you know what, if you want and you're comfortable, just sit back and watch. There's nothing that says you have to touch a firearm right now. Or I've sat one-on-one and I've just chatted with people over Zoom, right? And I let them know about the laws. I let them know about getting into it, right? And then from there, they go and do their own research and get into it. So yeah, there's many things that you can do, right? I even have women who just kind of poked around my firearm store looking, and they knew nothing. They were just like, oh, like I just came here to like figure it out. I'm like, oh, well, that's awesome. Like if you have any questions, just let me know. So yeah, there's tons of things that you can do.
Fantastic.
We get a lot of bucket list. We get a lot of gals that have tried, ladies that they don't think or know if they're ever going to shoot a gun as a hobby or even a recreation, but they've always wanted to try, especially a pistol. And so they show up because it's a bucket list, and then they buy a ticket every month for ladies' night, or every other week. Some of them come. So it's fantastic. And the range is 11 years old to about 75 right now, or 76. Yeah.
For my kids, because I have 2 children, and I didn't realize that this was a thing. Apparently, we're supposed to give teacher gifts at the end of the year to like thank these teachers, which I mean is fair. I get that. So for the past 3 years, I've been gifting all my kids' teachers gift certificates to the gun range to come out and
Love
try
it.
And it's been amazing. All of them have come so far, and I wasn't expecting that. And so yeah, that's something that I've been doing.
Isn't that amazing? That's a great idea.
That is a really good idea.
Yeah. That's fantastic.
Wow.
That's fantastic. So before we move, we've been talking about shooting, and each of you talk about your home club. So Jen, I don't know if you mentioned the name of your home club, but give us a shout out for your home club where you shoot, or clubs.
Yeah. My home club is Cornwall Handgun Club. It is about an hour and so east of Ottawa. Big sports shooting, like big action shooting club. They do cowboy action, IPSC, IDPA. So super active club.
I'll be there in 2 weeks.
I'll see you there.
Okay.
Maple Seed, right?
Yeah.
Nice. Amber, I guess we've talked about it, but
yeah. I belong to a few clubs. So like I said, I'm the president of the Castlegar Pistol Club. I am the founder and managing director of the West County Ladies Shooting Club. While we are not our own range, we do shoot at 2 separate ranges, and the other one being the West Kootenay Marksman and Trail. And that's a phenomenal range too. It has 3 ranges. It has a rifle range, a pistol range, and an archery range. And the members are absolutely fantastic. I've made lifelong friends at that range. And then I also shoot at the Silver City Trap and Skeet Club. So of course, Trap and Skeet shotgun, and that range is a favorite of mine as well.
Awesome. That's
Excellent.
fantastic. Thanks for sharing. I know that we've had a bunch of questions come in, and I'm betting that Casey's been collaborating in the background trying to get that sorted with some questions. So I don't think we have anything left on our list of questions. But Casey, what of our viewing audience want to know about Jenn and Amber?
So our first question was from Megan, and she wanted Amber to explain more about Outlaw.
Outlaw. Oh, Outlaw is a 22 precision match, and it's with speed. I can't say a lot about it, mainly because I just personally started it myself. But so far, it's been a ton of fun, and I dabble in the price a lot, mainly because everything is getting up there in price. Ammo has skyrocketed. Firearms have skyrocketed, and 22 is a really great way to get into the competition end of it and not spend a fortune. And so that is one of the reasons why I really like it. And there's just something so thrilling about hitting a target that big with a 22. It is like, it's that whole thing that Jenn said, the ting, like it's just, yeah, I love it.
Is it pistol or rifle, Amber?
It's the rifle.
Yes, pistol rifle.
Okay.
I can actually talk to it a little bit. One of the reasons is because Rick Kettebeck is the person that actually has developed this. He has developed CRPS, which is a Canadian Rimfire Precision Series, but that's for longer distances. And so he was thinking, you know what, we should do something it's a little bit shorter distances, which is the Outlaw ORPS, which means that you can actually shoot out to about 100 meters with 22 rimfire rifles. And ORPS right now we're trying to get more and more women into ORPS, which is PRS, 22 rimfire. Yeah, we're starting to do, or he is starting to do matches or also PRS instruction clinics for just females. I know that there's one that's going to be happening in Ontario at Lower Trent Valley on the 28th. Fortunately, I can't go to that, but I've signed up for the match, which is on the next weekend, which is on the 4th. But yeah, it's something that is super fun. It's PRS, which is you're shooting off barricades, you're shooting off of all kinds of different things, and you're using your rifle resting it on bags, but it's precision rimfire series. Yeah, go look it up. It is available on the website, so go and look at Outlaw Rimfire Series, or go and look at CRPS, and they have a link there as well. And you can also go to the QSIF page as well, because guess what? On there, CRPS is on there, and it'll take you right to that page too. So it's easy peasy.
Cool.
Outlaw does use steel. Tracy's got a question, so it's all steel.
So our next question was from Dobie Weiler, and it is for Jenn, and wants to know if Jenn thinks the sports shooting helps with her hunting.
I absolutely do. I find sports shooting has helped with so much, even like public speaking, because you're going up in front of so many people that are just watching you. So it kind of helps take the pressure off. So as far as like hunting and stuff goes, it really helps you just relax and focus on just you, your firearm, and the target in front of you, instead of everything else that might be going on behind you. And just for the accuracy, precision, and speed as well, to be able to pick up the firearm and like aim it, at my target in a good amount of time to make that ethical harvest. So yeah, it's definitely helped a ton.
Thank you. Our next question is from Megan again. What platform did you do the gunsmith courses through, Amber?
So I'm going to just say my favorite one, because I did 2 or 3 online courses. The one that I found the most informative was the ICS one, and you can just sign up online. I think it's around $1,000, and it's all online. You read through the chapters at your own pace. The only downside to it is they do feature a lot of the US firearms. So you do have to realize what is legal in Canada and what's not. So ICSlearn.com.
Thank you. All right. So our next one is from Jacqueline. Jackie, sorry.
There you go.
So unless you're already an elite shooter, if you can believe them on that, there is really no way to get to that status. I'm sorry, I'm not sure what we were talking to at that time.
I think that they're referring to Bill C21 putting in exemptions for elite sports shooters. And as far as they've told us when we've met with public safety, right now, they don't actually have specifications on what they mean by elite shooters. But it seems like they're leaning in towards the right direction of an Olympic shooter. And of course, how do you become an Olympic shooter or an elite shooter if you can't practice? So not sure if that's been thought out just yet. And by not sure, I mean, it probably hasn't.
Let's be real. It has not done.
And it's actually a really great question. It's it's like, how do you become a
100%.
sponsored athlete without a sponsor?
All right, so the next question is from Ginny, and it is, I'm a newly minted black badge holder, and I'm shooting my first match this weekend.
Congratulations, Ginny.
Yes. Do you have any hot tips for a very first match?
Yes, don't DQ.
Go slow.
Go slow.
Basically, yeah.
Go slow. Absolutely.
Go slow.
Absolutely.
Go slow. Be safe and get your hits. Qualify, and then you're good to go. You can work on speed later, but
Just don't get DQ'd.
And
everybody always says that, but that's
Right.
that's the best advice I ever
my
received.
first match, it was recommended to me to tell the range officer
Yes.
that you're new, and then they will be helpful through the process. And so it's very important to share with everybody that you're new and you're here to learn. So yeah.
One of the things is also by telling them that this is your first match. What they'll typically do, not always, but they typically do, is they will put you last so that you can actually see how to run that particular stage. One of the reasons they do that is so that, one, you can prepare, but the other reason is so you can see how the other people do it and so that you can be safe as well. So it's in their best interest to put you last. After you qualify, by the way, after your first match, then they typically won't do it, but just tell them that it is your last match or first match, and they will be very helpful to you as well. Nobody wants you to DQ on your first one. So
And don't get sucked in to go the speed of the shooter in front of you.
Absolutely.
Just go your own speed.
Yep.
Your own speed.
Yep. And have fun.
That's the most important one, Kelly. How did we miss that? Have fun.
I know. Relax. Have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so our next question is from Megan. And with the importation law that could be coming into place, would I be able to drive across the border and bring a firearm back? Or does that fall into importation? Yeah.
Right now, CBSA has been informed to deny all handgun imports as of August 19th. So no. Yeah, they haven't really taken into consideration individuals traveling for competition or anything like that. So
I'm wondering if she can drive across and buy a gun and bring it back, or one just importing and exporting for competition. There's two different things there. No, you can prior to this, you couldn't actually go and buy a gun down there and just import it back. You'd have to go do it anyways. But
no, exactly.
Yeah, we have to actually. We were talking about this a little bit, whether you could still fill out your Form 6.
Form 6.
Yeah, go down and bring it across and then bring it back, if that was actually even thought about. Again, we're talking about thinking in government. Those two things don't really work together. But we're not sure if that's what the effects of that are. And I would assume that if somebody's going down with a gun for a competition and they have all the right paperwork, they'll let them back with the same gun that they brought down.
You would hope.
You would hope. Mm-hmm. No buying a gun across cars. Yeah, sorry, I'm just distracted. Tracy is somebody who knows this stuff. Obviously, she works with our politicians on the hills, so she's telling us no buying a gun out of country still requires it to be imported. Yes, that is correct. However, after the 19th, we won't be able to do that.
Now, we will be meeting with public safety in the next couple of days, and that's another one of our questions that we're demanding answers on, because people need to know like what these laws actually are, and they need more details.
Well, and nothing would be more heartbreaking than being told you could go down with it, shoot your competition, and then have it removed from your possession on the way back into the country.
Exactly.
So, yeah, we certainly do need to know.
The Americans love us coming over with guns, us coming back over the border with guns.
It's the hardest thing to do.
It's sometimes a little harder, yeah.
I have a harder time flying across Canada with my firearms than I do going into the States. Every time.
Yeah. Flying with firearms in Canada, there's perks. I always try to look at the positive side. You get escorted, you get on the plane first, you get off the plane. They're not going to lose your luggage. Come on.
Right? All the upside.
Nice. That's true.
Yeah.
Any more questions, Case?
Yeah, we've got, that was too far up. Hold on one second. I lost myself because I was trying to follow the rest of the comments. There's winners. I think actually that might be it for all the questions.
Awesome. Thanks for keeping track. There was a lot of them.
There was a lot of
There's
questions.
a lot of interaction on this one, so that's great. Thanks to everybody.
Well, and with all of that, all of those questions, I think it might be interesting to have a conversation at some point at another She Shoots, talking about being a competitor and being able to move, transport your firearms, and all of that kind of stuff. But maybe we'll put that in for season 2, as that's something we're going to be talking about soon. So
yeah, we should put it out to our listeners and viewers.
Yeah.
What would you like to see in season 2? Give us ideas.
Season 2 of She Shoots. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. We're talking about season 2 already.
I know, right? Right?
Yeah.
We're going to be in double digits pretty soon here.
Woohoo.
Yeah, only a few episodes left.
Exciting.
All right.
Okay.
So should we get some stuff away?
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and do that. So as I mentioned earlier, we have 3 t-shirts to give out today. So we have a CSF t-shirt, a She Shoots t-shirt, and a Lady Guns t-shirt.
Yeah. Casey's got the She Shoots shirt on. I do too. But I'll hold this one up. This is the Shoot Like a Girl shirt.
And this is one from Lady Guns.
And the CUSIF one's in a box at my feet. So we'll just, believe me, it's there.
It's there. Okay,
there.
so let's go ahead and start with the CUSF t-shirt. So who is the winner for first t-shirt today, Casey?
All right. Number 14. So I'm counting. Hold on a second.
This
Somebody
is what Jenn and Amber
comments.
have to. Oh,
Goodness.
now
Okay, so our first winner is 1AB.
Yay,
1AB.
congratulations.
And that's through YouTube that she commented. So
Yes.
1AB.
Yeah, so for YouTube, they need to contact you to your email, correct, Casey?
Yeah, just send an email to casey@ladyguns.ca, and I will make sure that you get your t-shirt sent to you.
all right.
Awesome.
So,
T-shirt number 2.
Our next one is, oh my gosh, I don't even know. Queen of Cats.
I love that name.
I just
That's
wanted to
awesome.
know because that's actually one of the girls who is on the board for the West Cooney Ladies Shooting Group.
Okay.
Go back to the women supporting women. A lot of the comments, bless their sweet little hearts, are from the West Cooney Ladies Shooting Group because I love them to death. They wanted to support me tonight.
Oh, that's
Thank you,
awesome.
everybody.
Yeah, and I'm motivated now from the Queen of Cats. I'm going to be the Dame of Dogs.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Your comments from YouTube. So yeah, just email Casey and we'll get you your t-shirt. So yeah, she can wrap this She Shoots podcast now.
I dropped Casey's email in the chat, so you can all go back and refer to it.
Yes,
Awesome.
and I'll put it up again. The next winner, I think we've got one more, right?
We've
Yeah,
got
we
one
got the
more.
Lady Guns t-shirt.
All right, so that would be Kathy Lewis.
Hey, congratulations.
Congratulations to all the ladies.
Yeah,
Excellent.
everyone. Yeah, absolutely. So now that we've given away some prizes, let's go ahead and go into upcoming events. So yes, I've mentioned in the past, like CUSF is kind of like pretty slow during the summertime. You can look at your university gun clubs, and they normally have events happening. I know UCFA always has events happening throughout the summer. So if you're in Calgary, you can check them out. And throughout Canada, there's a bunch of other university clubs you can check out, and they'll have events for the summertime. For CUSF specifically, our next future event will be our Shotgun League, which started in September. So if you're interested in that, just go check out our website at cusf.ca.
Perfect.
And with that, Kelly, we're on to Maple Seed, and I know there's tons of it.
Okay, so we do have a ton of events that have been scheduled across the country, by the way. So go to mapleseedrifleman.com, go to our event section. You can check that out. There are still some seats or spots available in a few selected places. Our events sell out quickly. One of the events that is, or one of the events that is not sold out right now is our event in Cornwall that's in 2 weeks. We have seats available or spots available on both the Saturday and the Sunday now, because a couple of people have dropped out. So if you'd like to come and see me, or maybe even Jenn will stop by and say hi, go to mapleseedrifleman.com and check that out. Also, with respect to CUSIF events with Maple Seed, we do have some that are happening in the fall. So Crumlin is doing one, as well as Stittsville as well. So if you are a CUSIF member, you should be getting an email about those events in September. But yeah, go and check us out at mapleseedrifleman.com. Check out your province. If there's anything close to you that still has a seat available, go and sign up, because they, as I said, they sell out fast.
Hey, Kelly, can people volunteer and help you out with Project
Absolutely, 100%. Thank you to one of our new instructors, Deneen. Did everybody know that?
Only an instructor in training, not an instructor yet. Yeah.
If you are interested in helping out, we are always looking for new instructors as well. Come out and shoot a qualifying score at the match. Or what you can do is you can come out and, just like the lady said about getting involved, come out and watch, see what's happening, and you can learn through osmosis as well. I really like what Amber was talking about. Watch, then do, then read. Anyways, so come out to an event. We absolutely 100% need people to help with just actually the admin side of things, like handing out targets, scoring targets, or even just clearing the line. So you don't have to be an instructor if that's not your jam, but we're always looking for volunteers. So
and Rahina, how about CUSIF?
Yeah.
Sorry, Cal. Is CUSIF looking for volunteers too at these events? Is that a good way to come out to a gun range and help out a little bit?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We're always looking for volunteers with CUSIF, and even the university clubs, they're always looking for volunteers to come and help out. So if you're near one of those universities that does have a club, you can go ahead and talk to them, and you can volunteer with them, and they're all affiliated to CUSIF, right? So we're all just helping each other. Like you've said before, right. We're just a bundle of love. So all the volunteers, you're all welcome.
Coast to coast bundle of love.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah, right. Exactly. All right. So can I jump in on some lady gun stuff then?
Well, yeah, I was just going to ask, what's going on with lady guns?
Well, a couple things I want to do. I want to give a shout out to a bunch of the ladies that we've been working with. There was a big group in Fort Mac with Jamie Lee Beggs, and they did a ladies range day up there, and we were super excited to help them, although we couldn't be there. And then Casey and I got the band back together, and I hung out in BC for the month, and we did events out there. We did a shotgun day, and we did a pistol rifle day, and we had some new women come out and have been asked to come back and do that again. So upcoming, as we had mentioned, the She Shoots crew is putting together season 2. And so we're looking for ideas on what our audience would like to hear and what guests we should be bringing on. And so in that, Lady Guns is also planning the ladies' nights at the ranges in and around Calgary and Red Deer. We've been talking about some up in Edmonton. And most recently, there's been a request to do some activities for women that are already experienced shooters. And so we're going to talk about that, some adventure days, and some maybe some hunting and some fishing stuff. So we'll get that on the calendar as well. Another big shout out, CCFR. We've got a very exciting event coming up at the end of the month where we're getting that band back together and helping with the CCFR Gunny Girls calendar photo shoot. I know Amber and I'll be there helping in the background, and
I might even be there.
Folks. Yeah, I heard that, Kelly. I heard you might even be there. Yeah.
So why don't we talk about? Can I take a minute just to talk about that? I think it's important as well.
Yes, please do.
The reason that we do this calendar is so that all these events that we're talking about from the CCFR, we can provide sponsorship for getting more women into shooting. So if you or your club would like to have a Women's Day, reach out to me, kelly.wheaton@firearmsrights.ca. We'll try and sponsor your Ladies' Day, or we'll give you help to actually put together a Ladies' Day and bring more women in, because we really need your help. Women, I truly believe, are the future of our sport, and the more women shooting, the better it's going to be. And not only that, as you know, Jenn said, and Amber and everybody that's on this podcast has said, we're so supportive of each other, and we'll try and actually, it's one of the best communities that you can belong to as well. So if you want to start a Ladies' Day, let us know. We'll try and help you out with that.
Amazing. So I think we've got some thank yous, and then Rahina, have you got the info on the next podcast for us?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll just start by once again thanking our sponsors, Cabela's Canada Outdoor Fund, Savage Arms, Beretta, and Vortex. If you like today's episode, please leave us a like and follow us so that you don't miss out on any of our episodes. However, if you did miss our episode, you can always watch us on YouTube or Facebook to see the recorded episodes, or you can listen to us through Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. So while you're driving, working or something, you can just listen to us. And if you liked our message and would like to learn more about our programs, check out our websites at cusf.ca, ladyguns.ca, and mapleseedrifleman.com. To support us and get some additional perks, check out our membership programs. Thank you all for tuning in to the She Shoots podcast, episode 8. This club is not just for men. Don't miss out on our next episode, Hunting, the Positive Impact on Conservation. Our guest will be Kate McGuire. Kate is the Director of Forest, Fish, and Wildlife for PEI, as well as a botanist, trapper, angler, forager, and a recreational hunter. So make sure to save the date on September 13, 2022. Thank you, and good night.
Thanks, ladies.
Good
See
night.
y'all. Good night.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.